Okay, so you have to work with people that have very different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys get through your differences to be able to make the magic that we actually get to see and love? Like, we get to fall in love with you guys, but that's not really always the story of what's happening on set.
Well, are we just talking now?
Yeah,
Is
we're just
this live?
chatting. It's not live. We're filming. He'll edit.
Oh, okay. So is it game time right now?
Yeah, it's game
No pun
time.
intended?
We're game time.
Okay, hold on.
Game time. Look.
So, with that being said, Dr. Gaskins,
Oh, he referred me to Dr. Gaskins. I feel so good.
with that being said, as far as working in the industry on projects like, on an ensemble, I was very fortunate to be a part of some amazing ensembles. And with the game, we literally became a family. Nobody knew each other from before. We were all familiar with each other's work. And so myself and Brittany Daniel weren't a part of the original cast. Aldous Hodge, who's an amazing actor, a friend of mine, him, his brother, Edwin, amazing cats. I replaced Aldous. It's a network decision, and for whatever reason, however they wanted to go. So I replaced Aldous. Aldous went on to have an amazing career. And he's killing it right now. And, in comes Pooch Hall, in comes Brittany Daniel, and the studios and network were like, this is our cast. And we just came together and we just hit it. We just hit it off. And, in the beginning, everyone's all excited because, we all got jobs, we working, and then we have a show on television for millions to see. So in the beginning, you're like, this is dream come true, all that. And then you're seeing everybody every day, and sometimes you're tired, sometimes you're stressed. Some days you may have more work than others. All different dynamics. But with that being said, we all maintain that love and friendship and camaraderie because it was fun.
Okay.
We laughed every day. And I think that's something people take for granted. Laughter is like some of the best medicine. And my mom, she loved comedy. She was always laughing. And my dad and my mom, just to pivot real quick, my dad and my mom were complete opposites. So my dad was more serious and my mom was more, comical.
Okay.
So, I kind of took some elements from the both of them. But the game was a comedy on the CW, started on the CW, created by Mara Brock-Akil. And we came together on a show that, I'm not sure if you guys heard this, if you read it or what have you, but it was supposed to be mainly focused on, Wendy Raquel Robinson, the momager, Brittany Daniel, the interracial relationship aspect, and then Tia, who played, Melanie Barnett, med school, who was going to be a doctor, but then follows her football boyfriend to the NFL. And it was supposed to be from their perspectives. And so what happened...
Wait, when you say their perspectives, like centering the voices of the women?
Yes.
Ooh,
yes.
Okay.
That's how it was supposed to be.
Okay.
That's how it was supposed to be with the different dynamics within this world of football.
Right.
And when we came together as a group, and then when myself, Kobe Bell played Jason Pitts and Hosea Chancellor played Malik Wright, we came together, we were just really funny, just, we just had this natural chemistry to where the studio was like, these guys are hilarious.
So we need to see more of them.
We need to see more of them. And as an ensemble, we just made it work. And so as people watch the show, the relationships evolved into what they were as to, myself and Melanie, Jason and Kelly, and then even Jason with Brandy, and then Malik with Tasha Mack and so forth, and Tasha Mack with Rick Fox, and with Pookie, Rockman Dunbar, and we are part of that TV history of being one of the greatest sitcoms, if I do say so myself, in TV history. And then, within our culture of just in our community, a staple. So, with that being said, as far as the game, we are up there with, Martin, Family Matters, Good Times, the Jeffersons, and Cosby's, Different World, like we're Living Single, need I go on? But we are part of that conversation where we all have different characters and all the different voices and how our community was able to relate to those shows, especially the game. I became very close to a lot of NFL and NBA players because of the show, because of how relatable and real it was. And everyone had their favorites based off of, whatever
lens they were
whatever lens they were looking through, or whatever, whatever the character brought to the table.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud to be a part of that and grateful, because to be a part of a show that has an ensemble doesn't always work. And I'm very fortunate between the game and Ray Donovan to be a part of some, amazing ensembles, family-oriented cast, to where when you have that chemistry, it makes it makes what's being shown more believable.
Yes.
And we can trust each other as actors to play, where something could be written and then we can find certain things that's not written based off of our chemistry and our camaraderie. And that happened a lot with myself and Kobe and Hosea. We were always, doing stuff. And also because I played football.
So this wasn't actually foreign for you. You played ball.
Yeah, I played.
Okay.
I played. So, I would use the other players in the locker room, just because that team dynamic, we come together to win a championship. So I'm depending on you, just like you're depending on Zoe or Melissa and D.
Delano,
and B and Ebony. We all have a job to do in which we're trying to achieve a goal, and I think that happens in a lot of different scenarios where you have a team and we're trying to accomplish a goal. I need you.
Yes.
I need you to be the best version of you, vice versa, and for us to accomplish what we're setting out to do.
Got it.
So it doesn't always work, because sometimes you guys may read or hear about there's infighting or certain people don't get along. It's tough because you do have a lot of dynamics that he or she just don't mix, or they don't click. You know what I mean? One person's a vegan, one person likes to eat meat, one person's religious, one person's not. Or this person was raised differently from how you were raised, and they do certain things that just irk you based off of how you may have your process or what have you. I mean, it's life.
Yeah.
It's life, so we don't always get lucky to have great cast and chemistry, but we were on the game, very lucky, and as well as playing on Ray Donovan.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yes.
So you have these wonderful projects, because I don't think you're wrong. The game I have really fond memories of watching. And I want to talk a little bit about what happened with the representation of women going into medicine from that show. Because it did happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, they had the same effect when A Different World was on, because Dwayne Wade was an engineer, and they saw an uptick in black boys going into engineering because of his character, and you see an uptick in black women going into medicine because of her character. How important is having these images on TV, and how do you pick what you're going to play?
Well, I think in the beginning, and that's a great question too. It's as actors, we first and foremost, the profession in which we choose, like being actors, we want to work.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, before you hit, and you don't know what's going to hit when you get it. It is what it is sometimes. And there's times where, give an example, they didn't have a lot of high hopes for Deadpool when it came out, and Deadpool went and did what it did. You know, but the studios and the powers that be was kind of like, yeah. And then they went and did what it did. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, Ryan Reynolds is a star, and you know, he understood the fans and heard the fans, and the fans are very important. Like, I'll never stop saying thank you to the fans for getting behind us, yourself, and then everyone else who supported the game and our careers. So going back to your question, as far as us being represented in the Hollywood world, from TV shows to movies, we watch them for the entertainment purpose, but within the shows and series, we take on these characters who have what their thing is. And so, you know, when we take Melanie Barnett, you know, played by Tia Mowry, who was going to school for a doctor.
Med school,
you know, med school, going to school, John Hopkins, and all this, that, and the third. So you see that, and we watch it like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And when she starts to take her journey within the relationship, being married to or dating a NFL player or NBA player or what have you, like, you get thrusted into the public eye, which is, that is a whole different animal within itself.
Right.
And, you know, for the people who aren't familiar with the game, like Tia Mowry, that was her passion. It's like she wanted to be a doctor.
Yes.
And her father was a doctor. Greg Allen, great friend of mine, great actor, played her father, Greg Allen. And, you know, as our characters are evolving, the audience is watching, but then so is the network and the studios. Okay, so in the beginning, when it's all good, it's like, hey, we're pushing these great, you know, dynamics, and, you know, I think it would be great to showcase a black woman becoming a doctor and what that journey is. And then you may find people getting like, it gets away from that in a sense, because we're telling these stories, and then people like yourself, you're a doctor as well, it's like, hey, I wonder what's going on with, like, Tia. I'd like to see what, you know, what comes of that.
Yes.
And, you know, Hollywood, you know, well, we want to see more of the football stuff. That's what's selling jerseys. That's what's selling, you know, keeping the ratings up. You know what I mean?
It's the football stuff.
It's the football stuff where, you know, when you have, you know, a cast of 6, you got to touch on each person's story. But behind the scenes with show business, you got to go with what sells, per se. And I remember even, you know, Tia was like, when are we going to get back to, you know, the medical stuff?
Me being a medical school. Yeah.
And it can be done in ways like, shout out to, you know, Grey's Anatomy with Ellen Pompey, who I'm friends with Ellen Pompey and her husband, Chris. He's also, they're from Massachusetts, but Chris was friends with, you know, Bunch, who played my brother on Ray Donovan, Dash Mayock, where, you know, when I met them, and, you know, the success of Grey's Anatomy, you're talking like 20 plus seasons. There are ways to go about telling a story that's entertainment from a medical perspective. And I think when you're looking at it, it still is show business.
Yes.
It's show business. And we have to be careful not to take it personal, in the sense to where, well, you know, we were introduced to this character, you know, young, talented black woman doctor. what does that look like?
Right.
Because that's something that I feel I'm doing or am going to do. I kind of want to just, I know it's Hollywood, but just, am I going to have similarities, or, you know, I want to be able to laugh at some quirks or some things in which I've experienced going through my journey. And, you know, sometimes they go with it, sometimes they don't. And I think as actors, we first and foremost are grateful to be able to work and to, you know, take on a character that has influence and purpose and you know, what's the word? Just that.
I mean, it has
flavorful,
potential.
yeah,
Yes,
potential
for influencing.
Yes.
Yeah, you bring it to life. It's just words on a page until you step into it. So you actually give it soul. It's wonderful.
But also too, we as actors learn based off of when you're playing a doctor, when you're playing a lawyer, when you're playing an engineer, like, you know, with Dwayne Wade from A Different World. Shout out to Kadeem. Kadeem Hardison, who's amazing talent too, still out there killing it. You do some research to have some familiarity with the character, and then there's things that you may find as an actor, like, wow, this is actually interesting. Like, if I wasn't an actor, I may be a lawyer or a doctor or something like that.
Okay, what career is it for you?
I would definitely be a lawyer.
Interesting.
I would definitely be a lawyer for sure, because so I'm watching a case right now, and I have friends with a lawyer who's defending the defendant. He's an amazing lawyer, a good friend. He's friends with my producer as well, from Ray Donovan, and watching him work and just his approach, his demeanor, the way he uses scenarios, and just, he's good. Okay. He's good. And that, when you look at it from a big picture, you can appreciate doctors, you can appreciate lawyers, you can appreciate engineers, you can appreciate actors, because we have a job to provide a service. Okay, whether we are compensated for it or not, but it's a skill that not everyone could do. Like, not everyone could be a doctor, not everyone could be a lawyer, not everyone could be an actor, not everyone could be an engineer, not everyone could be a construction worker. But we are all born with a talent, you know, and skills. And but the point that I'm trying to make is that we have these skills and talent to where we're able to provide a service. And as an actor, I'm providing entertainment. And, you know, whether people laugh, whether people cry, whether people are like, oh my God, that's crazy. When you look at the big picture, and the same goes for doctors, lawyers, so forth and so on, he or she just saved my father from open heart surgery, or they have my father or my parent, my child's fate in their hands. It's not just about, oh, please do something for my kid, or do something. When you actually step back and look at it, you're like, all what goes into that to help this person continue to have life, or to defend someone, right, wrong, or indifferent, what they have to do that. To do that job. And then as an actor, to where someone may come up to me, oh my God, you got me through COVID, or we watch you every Sunday, we feel like you're our son, and stuff like that. We're doing a service that we're providing something. And so I think it's important as people to realize and understand that no matter how it goes, we all matter, and we're all born with different skills and talents, to recognize our value first as an individual. Because sometimes I feel people get caught up in, oh, Dr. Gaskins is driving a Mercedes and she lives in a big house on the hill, and like, oh my God, and like, you know, we used to talk when we were growing up, and now when I see her in church, she's like, don't say nothing. She keeps it moving. And here's the thing. What people don't understand, and I want to make sure, and I can't stress this enough, what's for you is for you.
Amen.
What's for you is for you. And I also ran track. And so when you run track, you stay in your lane, you look forward. Because as soon as you look to the side to see if so-and-so's beating you, that's when you get passed.
Yes.
So you look towards that finish line.
Stay focused.
Okay? So before you get upset that Dr. Gaskins may not seem like she has time for you or what have you, number one, she's saving lives. She's making a difference. She has a family. She has responsibilities that come before whether you're because she didn't say hi to you. There's so much going on with an individual, and we don't know what a person's going through.
I feel so seen right now because most people don't acknowledge that at all.
Well, that's the big picture where we fail to see because everyone thinks it's about them.
We're very selfish as people.
Well, we
are.
We are to a fault, but again, we all have our own individual responsibilities, likes and wants and needs, and then we have to put forth whatever that is to survive, to provide, to protect, to teach. And so, you know, as much as, you know, we all want to save the world and we all want everyone to be doing good, that's just not the reality that we're in. And it does start with the individual knowing who they are, that we have to know that we matter first and foremost, and to recognize what's hers is hers, what's his is his, and, well, where do I fit in the game of life, per se? And sometimes when people, in my opinion, don't have that answer, they're either trying to latch on to people who have what they want or see that they want, or they're not secure within themselves to where, you know what, life sucks, I'm gonna go hang out with this crowd, I'm gonna go put this in my body, I'm gonna go do this to my body. And I think it starts with here and here, to where it's okay to not be okay, and you got to share what you're feeling so that you may get some answers, or someone may say, oh, hey, I overheard you say, you know, well, what's going on? You know, let's step over, let's just like have a conversation or something.
This is interesting.
And well, here's the thing. This right here will determine on your choices, how you move, how you think, to where, well, life sucks, so I might as well, I'm just gonna go just throw it all away or just act a fool. And sometimes if we're not built with a strong foundation that's helping develop self, we're not gonna know what our purpose is, to where we don't know if this person didn't have a good foundation, whether they could have been the next Dr. Gaskins or the next Pooch Hall. Or
so what do you do to preserve it?
What do you do to preserve
your mind,
mindset?
your centering, your foundation? What are you doing even? Like, what tips can you give the listeners, right? Like, these are things that I do. Because I would love to hear what you're doing to help preserve your mind, because it's easy to get sucked in.
Absolutely.
And it's easy to also get lost. So you get sucked into a life that's not really yours, or keeping up with the Joneses, as they call it. Then if you can't keep up, it's easy to slip into a dark space where you're like...
Oh, that's facts. I think, to your question, what do we do to preserve our mental health,
our mental health,
our sense of purpose? And I mean, not for nothing, I think the time in where you and I grew up is much different from now.
Very.
But I still stick to my guns based off of knowing your purpose and having a strong mindset. And all of our dynamics are different, from starting with the home family dynamic. You understand? Because first and foremost, in your home, you gotta feel safe. you gotta feel safe. Okay, I gotta be able to trust you, Mom, what you're telling me. I gotta be able to trust you, Dad, what you're telling me. And as parents, no matter what age our children are, to listen, because they're always teaching us. I don't care how you put it. Our children teach us.
Yes, it's a reciprocal relationship.
Absolutely. So how I preserve it is, first and foremost, I want to be honest about how I'm feeling. You know what I mean? It's easy to say from an actor's perspective because, and I've heard it tons of times, yeah, life's all good for you because you on TV, you in Hollywood. That's bullshit.
Yeah,
I'm a human being. I still have to use the bathroom. I still got to provide for my family.
Yeah.
I still get hungry. I get upset. There's still traffic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That stuff still happens,
Right.
but people just look at people who are on TV, or because you got a doctor in front of your name and maybe you have your own parking space and it's a Mercedes or a Maserati, you know, it's like, oh, your life is easy and good. No, the thing about it is you have to be able to preserve your mindset and nurture it with a good foundation, and to where you're okay to be vulnerable. And as a male, no matter, you know, however male, and I say male because in the beginning we have this stigma of like, we gotta be the strong, rough, tough, you know, provide and blah, 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 all that.
Yeah.
And I say that to say this, you know, whatever your position is as a male, whether you're providing, whatever your preference of life is, you have to know who you are. Because even as people are not sure what sex they want to be, or what, you know, who their partner is going to be. And I say this to anyone. You got to know who you are, and you're not going to be able to feel safe within yourself until you're able to trust the people who are building that foundation. Now, I have my own issues, and you know, within my family, growing up, between my brother and my, you know, 3 sisters. The youngest sister has passed away. She was older than me. About 5 years ago. And then,
sorry to hear that.
no, it's okay. Excuse me. And so I think as me, and I'm only speaking from my perspective and experience, how I learned these tools as of recently, because my dad and my mom, they always do the best that they can with what they had. But one thing is that my dad always said to me, he says, boy, you're my horse if you never win a race. So right out the gate, I knew that my dad had me. And my mom always used to say I was gonna make it. I always got in trouble the most out of everyone in the family.
The troublemaker.
Yeah, I was just a clown. But it didn't mean I didn't get certain tools. And my dad was strict. But he was fair.
Okay.
I mean, I got my share of ass whoopings. You know, and I know.
So you were the bad one.
No.
Okay.
But, you know, people today, they have a reserve on whether you should, you know, spank your kids or not.
Oh, it's a hot topic.
It is definitely a hot topic.
It's a very hot topic.
And I feel with you and I, you know, being older and having families, we come from a different time and a different generation.
Let me tell you, I got whoopings, okay?
Yeah.
And I honestly am thankful for some of them.
Sure.
I was absolutely wrong. I can say that there was only one that was undeserved. All the other ones, I just got caught. I deserved them. And it helped me realize, like, there are consequences to my actions.
Sure.
Should have gotten whooped.
Well, here's the thing, Dr. Gaskins, and I think that's what these podcasts are about, is feeling comfortable in our vulnerability and saying, hey guys, you know, one of the biggest things, a pet peeve of mine today, is the lack of accountability. And, you know, people don't want to own shit
At all.
You got to be accountable, because what it does is, in my opinion, it builds character and strength, because you don't grow if you don't make mistakes and learn from it. Even if you were in the wrong or felt you were wronged, you know, you speak on that. And, you know, I feel, I mean, me growing up is like, you know, why? Because I said so. You know, what did I say? You know, and I get that. That's how my dad was, and that's, you just accepted it. And I can honestly say about my dad, you know, when I used to get my butt whooped, after he would tell me why, or he would ask me, you know why? He said, I know why. Why I whooped you? I said, yeah. And then he'll explain. So there's a lesson to be taught. But I didn't get whooped ready to go call the police on him because of what people are talking about in school or what have you, because each person's dynamic within their family is different. So like I said about the foundation and nurturing my mindset and mental, you know, I first and foremost would say, hey, Dad, hey, Mom, I have there's an issue, or there's an issue at school, or what does this mean? And I felt like I can go to them because they've given me a foundation.
So they showed that they cared.
They showed that they cared, and then they would touch on certain things that I was like, wow. Like when you were saying earlier, like, I feel someone sees me.
Yeah.
We growing up, especially when we're impressionable, we want to be seen.
Yes.
We want to be heard. And nothing burns my butt more than when I'm out in the world and I hear a little kid talking to their parent.
And the parents ignoring them, and they're on their phone.
It burns
Me
my
too.
blood.
I'm literally like, there's literally nothing more important that you can be doing right now than listen to your kid, right? Like, because you only get about 10 to 12 really good years with your child, and you're wasting it away on your cell phone. Now, have I done it? Yes. But am I aware that I do it? I stop, right? Like, I'm like, oh, let me be there for my kid. You literally, there's nothing more important that's on your phone right now that you can't answer your kid's question.
That's facts. And so for me, like, I would get upset, you know, whether even in my house, or I've seen other friends who had kids, and the kids are talking to them and the parents are just completely ignoring them. And whether you as a person feels that it's not of importance or whatever, it may not be important to you, but it might be important to them.
It is when your child is an adult and they do end up in a dark space, it's the difference between if they give you a call or if they turn to something else. Because they know that. That is literally the difference, and it runs through my mind every time. Like, I want to be the trusted source. Like, and it could be a generational thing. I am your parent, not your friend. But I also am the person that you should be able to come talk to. I don't judge my kids. They're kids. Like, I don't judge you, and I'm going to love you unconditionally. And I tell them that. I want them to be able to call me when things get dark or rough. Even if it's like, I want you to celebrate with me, and I want to be able to cry with you. Like, I want that dynamic.
Well, that's why for me, and you know, I'm able to do a better version of it now because, you know, I'm 5.5 years sober, and I feel like I came from good stuff with my parents, and you know, the first thing I can honestly say is that my dad and my mom, and my dad a lot too, gave me the confidence to where I feel I could have done anything. You know, I boxed and I played football. I grew up in Massachusetts, and as a young black male back there, I mean, sports. My dad was a construction worker. He was in the military. He was a guy's guy, and worker, blue collar, and my dad used to say certain things that stick with me. He was going, I want you to grow up and be good men. And he said, whatever you do, be the best at it. You always put your best foot forward. You be kind to people and respectful. He was big on respect in class. And it's so funny too, because when my kids do something, you know, that might slightly be out of pocket, whether cutting someone off or not holding the door, I'll say something. And then there's parents out there, oh, no, it's okay. I go, no, it's not okay.
It's not okay.
It's not
they
okay.
They need to apologize for their
Apologize
behavior.
for it and hold the door. And that's
and respect.
And that's and it'll take you so far. And you may not, they may not understand at the time, but I can honestly say from my own, you know, experience in life that I'm thankful for what my parents taught me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So getting sober, I was able to feel again in a sense, and it's like this whole wave of clarity came through.
Kudos to you for 5.5 years sober. I like just want to say that, like kudos.
Oh,
to
thank
you.
you, thank you. So, but leading up to that, I went through, you know, a dark period, you know, and a lot of it had to do with working in the industry, the pressures, and then it'll find its way into your house. And, you know, I talk about my sobriety because I am proud of it. I realize what it's given me.
You should be proud of it.
And for me, I lost my privilege to drink. So I don't condemn people who have their drinks. It's just not for me.
Not your thing.
It's not my thing. And I'm also a child of an alcoholic. My mother was an alcoholic. And so I think as an actor, you know, I think it's my job to, as people are entertained by me, I also want them to understand that I'm a human being just like you, that yes, you can become an actor. Whether you become famous or not, that's between you, God, and the industry. And does it provide an amazing lifestyle and notoriety? Yeah, great perks, and you get to travel and do stuff. Yes, but there's also a dark side. If you don't know who you are, you can get lost and caught up in it. Okay, and I thought I had the answers, a lot of answers, but I didn't realize how much I didn't know until I got sober. And so I have no problem talking to people about, you know, just what my journey is and asking the questions and like, hey, you know, what's going on with you? And when they say, hey, Pooch, how you doing? Like you'll see sometimes in the actor world, they'll say, hey, so-and-so, how you doing? Oh man, it's so crazy. I just booked this big movie. I'm working with Marvel now.
Ooh, they peacock.
It's
Peacocking is so annoying.
Yeah.
We get it. You're already successful.
Yeah.
We love your art. We
Sure.
love your craft. You don't have to lead with that though.
Yeah, but then that is telling based off of something within them to where they're not secure to say, you know what? Yeah, I might have booked that big Marvel piece, but I'm dying inside.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
That takes courage for one, because then you're like, how are people going to look at me? And what's this going to mean for my career? So, you know, we don't pay enough attention to that.
Right.
Based off of being secure in ourselves, no matter what.
Right.
And, you know, with our young people nowadays being so influenced by, you know, social media and the things that they see. And, well, I want it just to happen. If I do have an issue, I want it to be fixed right now. Or like, I don't want to have
instant gratification is killing the younger generation because of because they can see it. So you see the illusion on your phone and you don't realize what went into the person earning the thing that they have. Right. So they see overnight, everything's instant gratification, which is leading to delusion.
It's right. And so,
yeah. And
having kids, myself, I have 4. My oldest is, she was born with special needs. She was developmentally delayed. So the medical side that comes with that was and is overwhelming. Yeah. And it takes strong parents where it can make or break you. Then I have my daughter who just graduated. So she's 17.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. She just graduated. But she's out there in that new world.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes mom and dad don't know best.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then I have my son who's 16, superstar athlete.
Like Superstar, where we're going to see him playing.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's next level.
Okay.
And then I got my little guy who's also a superstar athlete, following in his brother's footsteps. And so it's challenging. I mean, when they're at the young age, like, you know, your little babies,
Yeah.
it still works, still hard, but it's a lot easier when they start becoming their own little characters. And you know, they're not only listening to mom and dad, but then the neighbor or this friend at school or whatever this TikTok video said and this one over here said, and it's just like, wait a minute. And that's why I go back to the family foundation is very important, whether hopefully the parents are together, but if you are a single parent taking care of your child, do not be afraid to say I need help. And I know sometimes people ask for help in different ways.
Yeah.
But we're all going through something.
Yes.
And sometimes it has to be specific. I'm having a hard time with my child. I'm having a hard time at work.
Yeah.
My job, my car is blah, 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 blah. So as you say that, and you say it to someone who you trust and someone who can actually help make sense of things, to say, okay, let's take your time out right now.
Right.
Let's check in with you.
Yeah.
And then if you're with the right person based off of therapists or a confidant, a doctor, or somebody positive
Yeah.
who also has their stripes of things that they've gone through and hopefully overcame, that they can give you some good perspective. Because what happens is, sometimes we may feel all these bad breaks are happening out there, but you may be the reason why certain things are happening. You could be in your own way. And it doesn't always have to be malicious or purposeful.
Right. It's just...
You could overextend yourself. You could be trying to do all this stuff out here and forgetting what's important, to be able to give to the places, to the responsibilities, and the things that you love. Do
you think your art, your craft, is a form of social justice? And why or why not? Because I'm a firm believer that it is, and this is something that we debate often, the responsibility of what people see on TV to be accurate, to be true, and to be representative. And I think that sometimes TV can be a form of social justice by what is portrayed, what the show is, and I wanted your perspective. Like, is media a form of social justice?
Is media a form of social justice? I'll say media it could be a blessing and a curse.
Ooh, talk about it.
Well, here's the thing. So as far as my career and being an entertainer on television and in movies and, talk shows and so forth, I get invited to do these things based off of like the characters I portray, how well I play them, and how real and relatable it is. And not to get all religious, but I can't remember, there's a scripture that I read where it says, paraphrasing, when you become a public figure per se, you have to be careful of your power that you put out, because it is influential. Sometimes people see me, they will have like especially at the height, like people were breaking down, crying, like, I can't believe I'm talking to Derwin Davis, or,
oh wow,
oh my God, I feel so bad with, Mickey Donovan, played by John Voight's doing to you. I'm like, nah, it's Hollywood.
You're like, it's a
but
show.
As far as what it is that I do, like I said earlier in the interview, people tune in because they need whatever their guilty pleasure is or whatever their getaway is or what they are looking towards as far as their form of entertainment. So we all have purposes within our careers. We're providing a service. So, you know, I could be providing some entertainment, and depending on what the entertainment is, you know, whether you have, you know, an antagonist or protagonist, some people will say, you know what, how he or she approached that situation, that's how I'm going to do it. And then they go and do it, and it doesn't have the same result because that's Hollywood.
Yeah.
But what you have to recognize is what it is that made that person have the courage to do it or whatever, or blah, 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 blah. So it's not always like, you know,
the outcome.
The outcome, okay? And that's why I said it's important to know who you are, because then you can take certain dynamics
and make it your own.
Make it your own.
And get the outcome that you're looking for.
And get the outcome that you are looking for.
Yeah.
And then there's the side that is, you can get an idea from, so that's how I'm gonna go blow up, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to go and administer some violence, or something you may see in a movie will trigger you to go and do something. So it's like I said, it's a blessing and a curse. And then so, you know, with entertainment, we are entertainers, and you can get entertained. It's not to be taken seriously, but each person's different. And then you may have the media who will showcase something positive. You know, okay, this foundation just gave to this, or we just found the cure to this cancer, or somebody just rescued this child from this, or something happened. And then there's the side of, oh my God, here's this tragedy, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And you put that you put that energy out there, and then people is like, wow, the world sucks and we're all doomed, blah 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 blah.
So I was talking about this with a couple of people that run the newspaper here locally. They were like, our stories of goodwill, good faith, the beautiful stories that people say they want more of, they don't read. They track all of it. But all the stories of tragedy and gloom and doom are like the things that people consume. And so they are always at a struggle, because like, I can't get publicity for my foundation locally in the newspapers. Not that they don't want to publish it, but they're like, Whitney, like, they're not.
It's a feel-good story.
It's a feel-good story. It's
and,
not.
And feel-good stories based off of what we're saturated with. We're saturated with chaos.
Yes. And they love chaos.
And well, just like they would say in Hollywood, I'm sure we've all heard the term. They said sex sells.
Sex sells.
So does it sell? Yeah. I mean, that's just part of the business that I happen to be in. I mean, there's times where I'm like, well, it's not necessary. Or they're like, well, this scene has to be specific because it means this to the story. I mean, that's just the creators, what they may find or what have you. And then also you do have the choice to say, well, I want to keep my integrity, and then I'm going to pass on this sex scene or this nude scene. And then they'll say, okay, I completely respect your decision. She's fired or he's fired. Go get so-and-so who's going to do this.
Yeah.
But that's the powers that be, in a sense, to where they are, like the newspaper, we're pushing a narrative. We're trying to sell papers. We're trying to sell movies. We're trying to do this.
Yeah.
So, you know, I understand that. But at the end of the day, each person's choice is their own, whether you want to continue to be in Hollywood, you want to continue working for that paper, or you stick to your guns and say, I'm going to continue to put out the feel-good story, because based off of how I'm being judged by the big man upstairs is like, I know that I'm doing the right thing.
Yes.
You understand?
This goes back to your foundation. You have to know who you are.
Right. You have to know who you are. And I know it's kind of a little cliche to say, but if you're able to reach one person or save one person, then you've done your job.
You've done your job. Yes.
You've done your job. So I think with the media, I mean, it's out there for a reason. I mean, yeah, we want to inform them, but we also kind of want to possibly keep them in fear, so that whatever narrative or whatever is being pushed, and like, when you educate yourself, or you don't just accept what's being told and you do your research. I can't stress research enough. With anything that you want to be the best at, or you want to find out what's the what, do research.
Look into it.
Look into it.
Deeply, though.
Deeply. Not just, oh, I read the cliff notes, I read the heading. No, get in there, because not only are you going to be informed, but then you're also going to be finding information you never knew existed, and then it may lead you to something else. So the more educated we are, the more valuable we're going to be out in the world. And then also, you're giving yourself other choices and weapons and, you know, information, and we're growing to where you won't just accept certain things. And, you know, there's still a group and groups who want to do the right thing,
Yes.
who want to see the good people win and so forth, and we want to somewhat save the world or save the whales. There's still those people, okay? And not saying that that's all they're about, but at the same time, nobody wants to be living miserable.
Ever.
That's not why we were
That's not our
put here.
goal. Yeah.
It's not why we were put here. But it's easy to get caught up into it, because sometimes the people making the rules are exempt from the bullshit that's coming out, because they're
living
above it.
above the front,
Yes, they're living above it. You see what I'm saying? And that's not for me to be like, hey, you.
Yeah.
It's not for me to say, hey, you, because that's their job. That's what they chose. But now that I recognize where it's coming from, I have
Need to be centered.
Yes, to say, all right, how am I going to maneuver through this?
Yes.
How am I going to protect my kids and teach them?
Right.
How can I share, like, hey, this is what we're trying to do. We can stay miserable and complaining, or we can do something about it. But you have to know that you can. You got to know who you are, to where, you know what, instead of going right, I'm going to go left this time. But where I'm trying to head is over there. But where does this road take me? And guess what? Sometimes you may go down a dead end.
And you need to go, just turn around.
Right.
Just
and
pivot
go back.
and
Not
go
like,
back.
oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
You should never took me this way. And it's
Yeah.
like, no. We made a choice, whether we decided to do it together or somebody supported that. Said, all right, well, go check it out.
You still learn stuff going down the wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. And you
And
get to
that's-
see things you may not have seen
Yes.
before. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
And I think we lost that somewhere, because we were conditioned to think it's only supposed to be like this. You know, entertainers, doctors, lawyers, athletes, and they're the only ones who can be successful and millionaires and da-da-da. No. We were all born, we came to this world with just our bodies and whatever our environment is, and to come up in that. And sometimes people are less fortunate, but then, as I said prior, you know, God doesn't make mistakes, and he puts certain people in your life for a reason. You just can't be so caught up in you that you miss it or don't hear the message.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so I just think that I really feel that you can achieve anything you put your mind to.
Yeah.
But you got to understand that you have a purpose, and for you to put your mind to it, that it may not come to you. You may have to ask some questions. You may have to break some eggs, okay? You may have to stay after school for the
There may be
extra
some
help.
sweat equity involved.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Because nothing that's going to be of value that you want to achieve, you can't not put in work.
Yes.
You have to put that work in.
You got to put the time in, the
got
energy
to.
in. I appreciate you spending
Thank
time
you.
with me. I have to play a fun game. I do it with
Okay.
everybody. It's a game of this or that. It's just a quick little thing.
Okay.
Let's see. Pets who would you
Hold
rather
on,
have?
let me-
Ooh, okay. You ready?
Okay, yeah, go.
Would you rather have pets who can talk or a baby who can talk?
A baby who can talk.
Why?
Because I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. I want to know if beyond, them crying that they want a bottle, or if they're hurting, like, it's specific.
Oh, so you're like, I just need to know. I don't want any mystery in raising the child.
That'd be really cool. I mean, you know, I mean, a talking baby or a talking animal, either way you look at it, it's cool. But like when you're asking me, I don't have
This
any
or that,
pets.
you can only pick one. No pets?
I don't have any pets.
Interesting.
I have 4 babies, 4 kids that just
And you said,
are
"That's enough.
a lot. Yeah.
enough.
So I'm choosing a baby who could talk.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
Good answer. Good job. Good job. 80s or 90s?
80s all day, every day.
For funny story or a one-liner?
A funny story.
Funny story all day?
Funny story, yeah.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
It's an easy game to play.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
I
much for
appreciate
joining
you,
me
Dr.
today. I
Gaskins.
really enjoyed the
Thank
talk.
you so much.
Thank
Yes.
you.